Amazing, beautiful people. It is always a joy to be here with you. And today, I can't believe it. We're in season 4, living life by design, not by default. And not only that, but we're in the second episode. And that is all about focus. Because what you focus on expands, or where your focus goes, your energy flows. Now, it's really interesting. According to the World Economic Forum report, the top 5 skills that are on the rise are as follows. One is analytical thinking. Second is creative thinking. Third is resilience, flexibility, and agility. So that capacity to be able to move. The fourth is motivation and self-awareness. And the fifth is curiosity and lifelong learning. Now, each one of those skills requires intention and focus. Now, I believe that focus is the key factor in realizing your true potential and calling in life. There are so many distractions and shiny objects and actually good causes that stop us being great because they detract us and take us off track. I'll be honest, each day is super precious to me. I want to make the best out of every moment, because actually the best days are ahead of us. But you know what? Time is like money and it's an investment. Every dollar I spend well today pays it forward into the future. And every minute or hour I spend well today pays it forward into the future. So it's interesting that I believe focus comes from being future focused, being able to see ahead of you what your calling is, what you're made for, who you really stand for, and keeping your eyes up and above what is actually in front of you. Because if you're certain, if you've got that focus ahead of you, it will drive your actions for today. Now, my dad died when he was young. And if that's my ticket, I want to make sure that I go to heaven with no regrets. So how do I stay focused? The reality for me is I have to have, as I've just said, a clear goal, a clear purpose. I have to be certain about my why. And if you don't know what that is right now, you know what? There's a reason I do one-on-one coaching to help people sort that out. We also do some group coaching and some free stuff. This is part of the free stuff. But the reality is if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up being battered and taken in lots of different directions and possibly end up going nowhere. That is unhelpful and unfocused. So having a clear goal and a purpose helps me and my why. I have to have a reason why I'm doing something to help me keep on track. And then what I do is I put in forcing functions. Because actually, if I know what my why is, but then if I don't have a time or a date or don't have an event by which I have to do something, I won't do it. I need to make it finite. I need to know when I need to have that thing done. I also am super productive when I'm accountable. I'm not very good on my own because people actually are more important to me than anything else. And so if I need to get fit, I turn up to tennis. Why do I turn up to tennis? Not to get fit, but actually to hang out with the beautiful people I get to play with. So having that accountability, knowing I have to show up, helps me to be focused and achieve what I want to do. And in my case, I really want to achieve to be fit for that. So I believe there's also an order of play that helps us hone in, that helps us focus on what it is that we want to do. And so I've got 5 things here that I think really help with focus. We've already talked about the first one, knowing your purpose, knowing your goal, know your desired outcome rather, and it's all written down. Have it written down. And you know what? Look where your favor is. Look where the doors are opening for you, where things are happening in front of you so that you just walk in. It's like a natural progression to walk into. Have a think about that today. So that's number 1. Number 2 is actually finding out what motivates me. That comes back to the why. What inspires and excites me. My pull motivation. Not forcing doors open, but what's opened ahead of me and is pulling me forward. As I said, people will always motivate and inspire me. I'll drop everything for somebody. So, that's great. But if it means I'm dropping what I'm meant to be doing, it's not so great. So there's still some balance in there. So then we've got 1, purpose. 2, what motivates you. 3, know where I'm most likely to trip up. Well, I've just said it. My brilliance can also be my problem. What sparkly objects, or good causes will come up and take me off course? And then have I got a plan to overcome these? And actually, it's really interesting when I was thinking about this today and I was coming to do this recording, I realized that I fall over with food and snacking all the time. It's flipping unhelpful, just quietly. I got down to my goal weight, and then the snacking and this little bit of this and a little bit of that just pops in. It all adds up. So what am I going to do? First of all, why am I doing it? I'm doing it because I want a brain break. I might be a bit bored, might be a bit struggling with something I've got to think about. And I'm kind of using it as a bit of a procrastination thing. Oh, you know what, if I get something to eat, I'll feel better. Or I'm looking for it to inspire me, for my energy. And actually, I false believe that carbs, caffeine or sugar will do this for me. Yes, it'll give me a spike, but it doesn't actually help me. I want to be focused in the moment. So what do? I'm overcoming this by planning and preparing my meals ahead and putting some new rules in place, like no food in my office or snacks at my desk. You know what? Having to have that clear focus of these are the times that I'm in my office and I'm working, and then planning in my rest times. That's where I've fallen over. And rest for me doesn't actually mean eating. Rest for me means recharging my batteries, but my brain doesn't associate rest with food, which is great because that helps me because I don't want anything that's attached to food. And so therefore, recharging my batteries could be an activity. I could go and walk the dog. I could read a book. I could listen to some worship music. Whatever it is for me, that it's if I program in rest and recovery rather than food, I've replaced it with something positive, with something healthy. And what happens is I then switch off and rest so I can switch on and focus. And I love listening to podcasts, walking the dog, listening to a podcast, or actually just listening to the birds, just enjoying where I am is so exhilarating for me. So that's the third one. I kind of expanded that a bit because I know that that's stuff I get stuck with. So where I get tripped up, we have to have a solution before we do that. And interesting, number 4 is have a plan and a work. So have a plan to work in and have clear boundaries. Set the times and places of where I'm going to be, what I'm going to be doing, and make sure that I've got that switch on, switch off. So I can be fully focused at work and then I can be fully focused at home. I can go back into my space, but it's all planned and prepared. And yes, I will have to shimmy a bit, but at least it's there and it's there for me to work. And then what I need to do is make sure I reflect and recover each day. How was my day? How was my week? How was my month? How was my year? So we've got to review that. And that's actually number 5 is reflect, review, and upgrade my plan. So if things have gone well, brilliant, do it again. So if I've had a real focus session or I've had a flipping pumping day today, I have to say. It's now 5 o'clock and I have done 7 meetings and we have just pumped and pumped and pumped. In fact, we recorded our first show for, pass the message on. So we're quite excited about that, just quietly. Plus today was so exciting. I got to deliver a message. We're actually just thinking about hearing about God. So we focused on that today for both sessions, the year 7/8s and then the year 13s. And so I got them to play the game with God today. Do you know, it was so exciting. All of the year 7/8, so it's probably over 40 boys. It was 20 plus of the year 7/8s and again for the year 13s. I asked them, I said, right, can you hear your own voice in your head? If you were to say your name or hear your name, can you see it or can you hear it? And they were like, yeah, I can do that, miss. Brilliant. I said, okay. Now I want to ask God a question. I want you to ask him what game he wants to play with you. For those of you listening to this, do it now. It's brilliant. It's good fun, actually. So I said, what game does he want to play? And some came up with pickleball and rugby. And there was another one that was really thought was different. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Operation. I haven't played that in years. Anyway, so that was cool. So those were some of the games. And then I said, right, now ask God why he wants to play that game with you. I loved the focus of all the boys. They all were like, what can I hear in my head? Oh, yeah. They wrote it down. And then I asked them, why does God want to play that game with them? And again, they were super focused. Write it all down. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. No chitter chatter. Just got on with it. So I encourage you, whatever it is, you know what? Ask God. He's got all the answers. It's fantastic. And when you can hear his voice and play games with them and have fun with them, because that's what he wants to do, he wants to have fun, then it gives us the opportunities to become actually, I suppose, what the world would call super focused. But for me, it's just actually kingdom normal. It's like, this is where I get my wisdom from. All of this stuff comes from him. I think it's great. I don't have to do any of the thinking. I just have to ask the questions. You know what? That in itself is brilliant. And it saves me having to do half the work. You know what? It saves me a lot of focus and a lot of hard yards. So anyway, I just want to wrap up with the fact that whatever you do, you need to understand what drives you. I will always be motivated by people and relationships. My connection with God is great because I'm motivated by relationship. And so therefore get focused on what it is for you. And it's interesting, one of the things I've had to do is actually focus and make sure I've got time for administration, because people will always come over admin. Food would always come over admin. So I've had to put that admin, because if I don't do the administration, none of this works. So it's just so interesting. And you know what? I'd love to open a discussion up with you guys. What is it that you do to help you focus? I've shared what I think, but I'm not the be all and end all. What do you do to get super focused? How do you make sure that you stay on track and you don't get, distracted by the shiny objects? So whatever it is, come back to me, let me know. And I just thank you. I thank you for listening again and again and again and again. I thank you. And going forward, remember, this is going to go straight onto YouTube. So this is the last time you're going to get this by email, for those of you who've had it by email. It's going to go to a monthly newsletter. So for those of you who are on YouTube, bring it on. You're enjoying it. These will be released every week. So just enjoy them. And for those of you who've just come to it and they're all there for you, season 4's already ahead of you, bring it on and enjoy it. And I would love to hear from you. Please help me get the message out. And the reason that I want you to do that is so that more people can hear this. So share it with a friend, or better still, subscribe to this channel and get it for yourself every week so that you can get the latest updates, the latest thoughts of what's happening. Actually, my latest uploads from God. Get them direct. It's brilliant. And you don't even have to do any of the thinking or ask the questions. You just have to listen for a few minutes. How cool is that? Anyway, have an amazing time. I love you. God bless you. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. Be abundantly blessed. Thank you.